Does your coach matter in the NHL or in hockey in general? This question comes up all the time, every year. So this is going to be one of those evergreen content videos that you can look back on and you can find out, is it time for your NHL team to fire their coach? My name's Coach Ryan D, and welcome to the worst sports channel on YouTube, Hot Garbage Sports. We are going to dive in to all the data analytics, as well as my background as an experienced hockey coach, to tell you what areas your coach controls and finally answer the question, does your coach really matter, or is it actually just all on the players? So stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to find out all that and more. Let's go ahead and roll the intro. And if you're new to Hot Garbage Sports here, we cover a very unique brand of the NHL and hockey here. We give you coaches breakdowns, team breakdowns. We really dive into a lot of the analytics that you won't hear on big media or other YouTube channels. So if you want to be part of this journey, go ahead, smash subscribe below, ring that notification bell, and leave me a comment about what things you'd like me to cover. So, do coaches matter in the NHL? Yes! And that's our video. Advanced statistics in sports and in hockey will come back and say coaches do not matter. That is wrong. Now, Christopher Berry and Anthony Fowler out of the University of Chicago have a paper online, the link is below, where they use some statistical analysis to break down the ever-impending question that comes from advanced stats nerds, and they say coaches matter. Coaches do matter, and specifically in the NHL and hockey, coaches matter when it comes to one single category, and that is goals allowed. Let that sink in for a minute. Goals allowed. Now, this actually makes a lot of sense. For those of you new to this channel or hearing me talk, I like to break down the philosophical points of hockey. And in hockey, we have offense and we have defense, and then we have this little weird thing in between called puck in dispute, meaning neither team has the puck. Offense and defense don't denote a zone on the ice. There's an offensive zone and a defensive zone, but the terms defense and offense can happen anywhere on the ice of hockey. Defense is when the other team has the puck and you don't. Offense is when your team has the puck and they don't. Puck in dispute, nobody has the puck. You with me? Great. So coaches control the defensive aspect of the game. The offensive aspect of the game is heavily controlled primarily by the players. And this isn't shocking. That's because offense is predicated on creativity, what we all like to call jam, and what we like to call silky mitts and filthy dangles and top cheddar, snipes and sellies. That is all on the players. So when players have the puck on their stick, you want them being creative, you want them being loose, you want them having fun, you want them to have some tactics that you teach them as a coach. You don't let them just go in blind, but you want to give them some options through practice where they can really learn to feed off each other and create offense and scoring opportunities. You want to give them some key pointers, but after that, let the boys play, as they say. Defensively, however, coaches like me, we own the structure. As soon as a team loses the puck in the offensive zone, neutral zone, or defensive zone, I and coaches own your behind. Whatever we ask you to do is a structurally concocted plan that is well thought out in hockey in terms of individual tactics, team tactics, and system tactics. Those are the three areas that coaches focus on. Individual being what we ask the player to do defensively when they don't have the puck, what we ask the team or a line unit to do when they don't have the puck in given situations, and systematically, what do we want to do as a team? Because we always want to dictate the play. All right, so let's go in and let's talk about the four categories that coaches handle throughout the year and how these concepts we just talked about may or may not be impacting your NHL team. Because it's not as easy as just saying, hey, we got a lot of goals against, fire the coach. Hey, my eye test tells me as a fan that our defensive structure is terrible, fire the coach. Back in my day as a fan, we used to. Shut up, doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. The other thing fans love to jam in on is line combinations. We love it because anybody can put the pieces together and think, I've put these pieces together and my precious is together and look at the precious. The team is now going to win. Doesn't work that way either. Believe it or not, line combinations are a very small part of the coach's job. Line matching, however, we'll get to. Huge skill. So let's go in order. Season planning. That's the number one job of a coach. What's involved in season planning? Well, that's basically what you expect to accomplish throughout the season, what your systems are going to be, what players you're expecting to get, who you're expecting to draft, who you're expecting to keep, who you're expecting to cut. Your season plan dictates everything that you're going to do. So before a coach ever starts in the NHL or any other hockey team, they evaluate right away because they know what talent they're walking into. Are we a cup contender? Are we a mid-pack team that could improve to a cup contender? Or are we in rebuilding status? That is what a coach needs to do when deciding on their season plan. And their season plan involves very detailed practice plans, which focus on those three areas we talked about: individual tactics and skill. The NHL level, that's actually a lot smaller than you'd think. That's higher in the developmental level when the kids are younger, but they still do work on it at the NHL level. They want to go ahead and talk about team tactics. This could be special teams, forecheck, neutral zone, and they want to talk about system tactics. What are they hoping to do? The number two thing that a coach needs to go ahead and inventory and control is the team identity. Now, the coach can do two things here. They can say the identity of the team is going to be this blank, and they have a predispositioned idea as to what it will be, and every team they coach is going to be that way. Think of Trotz or Sutter. They have one mold. The box is well defined. You fit in the box. You play on the team. You don't fit in the box. You ride the pine. It does end up bringing success. But then you have coaches on the other end of the spectrum who are frankly the best. A guy like Barry Trotz, for instance, who takes a full inventory of the players available and on his team and creates his team identity based on the skills, tactics, and players that he has to work with. Big brain plays there. Team building and chemistry is the number three area that a coach controls. The team building is all the stuff you see in movies. You know, hey, let's go take a ski trip. Let's do this. Whatever you got to do to get the team to work together and have players play for the guy to the left, guy to the right, or the girl to the left, or the girl to the right. That is what team building is, and creating that chemistry and those bonding moments. That is on the leadership and the coach, but that's also on the captains, assistants, those types of things. It's definitely part of a coach's plan though. And number four is skill identification. It's identifying your talent. Who is good at what? Where, when, why, how, and what? What talent do players possess and what situations can you put them into? Those are the four areas of a coach's job. Now, there's a systematic order as to what a coach should be doing in their season. It doesn't go in the order we talked about. The first thing the coach needs to do is take a skill inventory, and he basically takes a skill inventory every day, every month, every week based on practice. It doesn't move as much as you'd think in the NHL, but it can move, and a great coach is open to it moving. Skill inventory is who are your best players offensively and defensively? Who are your best players? Stick handling, shooting, passing, skating, body checking, those core skills, you do rank them. Who are your best players in terms of hockey IQ? You want to take an inventory of all your players' abilities. And then based on that, they're going to go into number two, which is their season plan. They're going to build a plan around the inventory of skills that they have available to them. And that plan should theoretically match the skills available if they're a top tier coach. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at a picture of a hockey rink. Very simple when we talk to players. Anything from the red line back to your line, the coach controls. You want to own this area of the ice and create systems in this area. Anything from the red line to the offensive zone, your players control. Another way to think about it is you have the work zone, which is the defensive zone, the fast zone, which is the neutral zone. You want to get through that baby as quick as possible, and the fun zone, which is the offensive zone. So you work to go fast, to have fun. But that's just a simple way to break it down. The more complex way for NHL players to break that down is going to be, if the puck's not on your stick, I own you. The puck is on your stick. Do what you need to do to generate offense. And if the puck isn't on your stick, get the darn puck on your stick. Puck in doubt, very simple. There are systematic ways and individual skills. You give players a lot of rope to say, we want that puck. Go get it. The other area that a coach really does own, not just goals allowed, is special teams. Special teams is huge because you can coach and structure the power play as well as the penalty kill down to every single movement. This is a coach's area. It's not just a coach's area and who he chooses to put out in it, but how he systematically decides to go ahead and deploy his unit and his talent. The penalty kill is very simple. Speed. Speed kills. It's not just the big guys holding position anymore. It's speed because you want to be aggressive and cause turnovers on the penalty kill. on the power play, you want high skill caps, and you want high skill caps on the power play because you want to keep puck possession and look for those perfect shots. So the coach now we've identified owns the defensive side of the puck, meaning when we don't have it, the penalty kill, and the power play. Those are the three areas that a coach owns. So when you're looking at your coach in the NHL going, should we fire this guy or should we not fire this guy? Advanced stats and analytics can really help you tell the story. If your team is bad defensively 5-on-5, you should probably look at firing your coach. You do want to do a skill inventory and find out where your team's at. I mean, if this is a rebuilding team, we talked about this at the beginning, that has a bunch of young players that just, hey, we'll get there. No, you don't want to fire your coach. But if your team's stacked with a good amount of veterans balanced with rookies, you've had the same players or core for the last 2 to 3 years, everybody's averaging somewhere in their mid-20s, and you're bad 5-on-5 defensively, yeah, you may want to look at firing your coach, especially if you think your skill cap is really high. So if you have a lot of talented players in your team and 5-on-5 defense sucks, get them out of there. Easy way to tell against that, more shots on goal than shots generated. That's bad. Easy telltale sign. If that's happening over and over, you're ranking at shots generated against you as well as dangerous shots generated against you. Other reasons to look at terminating your coach. Is your penalty kill bad? If your penalty kill's bad, you really want to take a look at your coach again, especially if your skill cap is high. But even if it isn't, most players in the NHL can be taught to penalty kill. That's why it's usually a bottom 6 role or a 5-6 pairing for defensemen. Everyone is talented and it is a controllable enough position that if you have enough speed on the bottom 6 or speed in your 5-6 defensemen, this is a great way to get them ice and give them a role. But if you don't, your coach actually should think about deploying some of your best players on your penalty kill, even though they may need a rest. It is such a crucial area to be just in. You want to make sure you're deploying enough speed onto the penalty kill if you don't have it in your backhand. So this is a huge coach's area. If it's bad, you should probably take a look at firing your coach. Power play. This is the third area. It's got the weakest level of correlation, but if your power play is really struggling and has been struggling all year, and again, you have a high skill cap team or you have a team that should be performing at that level, then you want to take a look at terminating your coach. Other than that, you don't really need to. So if your team is above 500 in any of these 3 categories and you look like you're having progress moving forward, then we go ahead and do it. But all the other stuff that we love to talk about as fans, I don't see chemistry here. I don't like this line combination here. Throw that out the window. That has no impact right now because we can't measure it. It's important, but we have no idea. We've got to be on the team. And you can't trust players to tell you the honest answer. They'll all go to the media and say they love their coach or they're doing whatever for the coach because they're professionals. They're not going to come out and say, yeah, this guy sucks or I hate his system. And when they do, when that does get said, because it's rare, take it very seriously. Very seriously. If a player is willing to go to the media and say stuff like that, there's a problem with that coach at that point because most of the time these guys are professionals. They ain't going to say boo. So you can't really take what they're saying at face value. You got to go ahead and just trust that the general manager and the coach probably know what's going on in that room. Us as fans, we can't see it. So take a look at the 3 categories that I talked to. Those will help you identify as a fan of whether or not your coach is doing a good job or not. Really simple. Hopefully you guys have learned something about this at this point. Subscribe, like, stay tuned. It's been Coach Ryan D.